Hi, Professor Wang.
Hi, Yijia, I'm here now. So shall I do now? What shall so?
Okay, I guess maybe we can wait.
I'm here now.
I guess maybe we can wait 2 minutes. Maybe some of the audience are coming here.
Okay, sure, no problem. So shall I try to see whether I can upload
sure.
my slides, right?
Sure. Okay, please.
So shall I try to see whether I can? So let me check. Upload my slides. I have this PowerPoint, right?
I 我操！太他妈傻！一会儿就过来，一会儿就过来。哎，你看没有大兵车？
Please.
So can you see my slides?
Okay.
It's work, then I can stop now, right?
电池变盒。
Shall I stop sharing?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it works. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see the slides.
Yeah, okay, just make sure it works. Before one time I have issue with Tencent meeting and I cannot share my PowerPoint. So I don't know what's going on there. So I think it's better for me to get in and check.
The online.
PowerPoint. So I don't know what's going on there. So I think it's better for me to get in.
Okay. One, the top of one. Okay, let's start, Professor Wang, and also Professor Tan. I also saw him here. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Yijia Wang from Northeast Agricultural University. Welcome all of you to attend today's seminar. Since we may have participants from different countries and regions. So say hello to all of our participants. It's really our great honor to welcome all of you to attend this seminar. Today we may have two speakers, but at the very beginning, please allow me to introduce our public forums. Since the end of 2020, the Volunteers of Engineering Management editorial office has launched a series of successful online public forums for engineering management, which have attracted many researchers from across China. These forums feature keynote speech from academics and experts and also the authors of FEM, both from China and overseas. The Foreigners of Engineering Management is a research journal that's supervised by Chinese Academy of Engineering and jointly published by Higher Education Press, Tsinghua University, and also Huazhong University of Science and Technology. I shall say that Volunteers of Engineering Management is really a top and leading journal in mainland China because it's really led by the Chinese Academy of Engineering, which is the highest research institution in China. So really, please allow me to deliver my greetings to the Volunteers of Engineering Management and also our university, Northeast Agricultural University, and also our school. Thank you their support for allowing me to host today's forums. Amanda Wang from Northeast Agricultural University. Also, I also have got my PhD degree in Hong Kong. So my honor to invite today's two speakers, Professor Yulan Wang and also Professor Hua Tan. I should say that both of them, I meet both of them in Hong Kong, particularly Professor Hua Tan. I meet him maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I was a junior PhD student. And also Professor Yulan Wang, she's also a very good, very top leading professor in America. And I meet her maybe 3 or 2 months ago. So it's really my great honor to invite both of them. Today, our first speaker is Professor Yulan Wang. Before her presentation, please allow me to briefly introduce her. Dr. Yulan Wang is currently a full professor and associate head in research of the Department of the Logistics and Marketing Studies, Faculty of Business, the University Hong Kong U. She received her PhD degree in Business Administration from Duke University and bachelor and master degrees from Shanghai Jiaotong University. Her research interests lie in operations and supply chain management, socially responsible operations, and also operations marketing and information systems interface, and so on. Her research work have been published in leading academic journals such as Management Science, Operations Research, Manufacturing Service Operations Management, and also Production and Operations Management. This through the UT Dallas 24 journals, and her research works have received awards such as finalist the IFORS Prize of OR in Development 2023 and second prize 2020 Higher Education Outstanding Scientific Research Output Awards, and also 2022 China Information Economics and Outstanding Output Award in Information Management. Dr. Wang also serves as a senior editor of Production and Operations Management and associate editor of Decision Science, Naval Research Logistics, and Omega. These journals are really the leading journals in our research community. She is also the editorial review board member of Production and Operations Management, and also an editorial board member of Transportation Research IE, which is also a leading journal in transportation engineering. It's also the impact factor is also over high. I guess maybe it's greater than 10. So Professor Wang is really a leading and vast professor, and it's my honor to welcome to give her research about agricultural production and operations management. So please, Professor Wang.
Thank you, Yijia. Thank you for very nice introduction about me. So now let me first share my slides. So can you see my slides now?
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, okay, let me do this one. So, okay, so Yijia, thanks a lot for inviting me to this public forum on agriculture production and operations management. It's my great pleasure to be here to talk about some of my work papers where we study the effect of government intervention on farmer welfare. So in the remaining times, these are the 4 things I'm going to go through. So now let me first talk about the reality about agriculture industry. So agriculture industry now becomes more and more important in recent years due to the food security issue, because worldwide we still have big food supply crisis. The number of people facing food insecurity actually increasing quite a lot. especially in recent, we know there are Ukraine, Russia, war, and Israel, this Gaza issues. So this is urgent for we have a stable, increasing supply of agricultural food to feed our world population. On the other hand, the farmers actually they may not have capability to produce more. Actually, many farmers are still living in poverty, especially in developing countries. For example, in India, 50% of workforce are in agriculture sector, but their average income daily just $5. And in China, still we have quite a large proportion of the farmers are living in under national poverty line in 2019. Before we have zero poverty since. Now I think things change. Worse yet, the farmers are not just have poverty issues, they are not have enough income. Actually, in this agriculture sector, the farmers' income inequality is also quite severe. Take India as an example. This inequality measured by the Gini coefficient, which is an economic measurement, is about 0.6, which is quite high. So as a result, many governments, especially in developing countries, are thinking about how to improve the farmers' welfare, like their income, as well as reduce their income inequality. So if we take close into this agriculture farmer supply chain, look at the farmers' production process, we realize there are mainly three obstacles that hinders farmers to improve their income. Number one is the farmer is lack of agricultural advice, tells them when to plant, when to water, and how much fertilizer you should apply, when to do pesticide. So they don't have knowledge about how to grow. Many farmers, they have limited knowledge. So such a kind of thing can lead to their improper planning decision and affect their yield rate. So if there's no yield rate and the quality of output not good, they cannot sell good amounts, right? And second one is farmers are also lack of the market information because they are far away from market, right? I'm from Sichuan, right? Most of farmers are in the mountainous areas. They are not away from city. So they have very limited knowledge about market, demand, pricing, etc. So when they do how much to plant, they have no good idea to make their effective production quantity decision. This also affects their, profit. Thirdly, we know most farmers in developing countries are smallholder farmers, which means they are small scale, and they don't have abundant financial resources. They have limited financial, money and other things. So while their production process for the planting of crops is quite expensive from their viewpoint, so they actually in recent years, for the whole production process, farmers face both high input purchase costs, such as buying the quality fertilizers and seeds. The prices of those inputs has sometimes tripled and quadrupled more than before. Also, on the output side, they also have high output processing costs. When it's harvesting season, they need to harvest. They need to transport the produces into the market. They need to storage because, agricultural products is quite perishable. So those post-harvest handling is also very costly. Take Sudan example, their harvest cost has increased by 4 times. All those, also hinder farmers, planning incentives and production incentives. So to solve those issues, to help farmers to make better, wiser farm production process, governments and also produce more to ease the global, food security issues. Governments, especially the governments in developing countries, has implemented various intervention programs. For example, governments now free agriculture advice on how to grow. If you look at my slide, and the right side, there's a picture which is in Indian language. So which the Indian government, they actually send to their farmers the information about, okay, tomorrow it's going to rain, so it's a good time for you to start planting now. For example, they tell you when the rainfall comes and you shall plant now, and then they will tell the information to a farmer. Okay, now is the time you need to water, and it's time you need to do the pesticide. So those kind of information provision can guide farmer to do a better, planting decisions and in the whole crop process. So the outcome is they can help improve the quality of the crops, right? Because they may use less fertilizer, the crop, and they can produce more, which will increase the yield rate of the whole planting, as well as help them to reduce operational costs. For example, they plant the seeds at the time before raining. So then all this, the number of seeds can grow into plant is more. As if they plant in the wrong time, they maybe might again buy the seeds. Also, those are the benefits of the agricultural advice provision. But sometimes some advice from the government may require upfront investment. So they say you may buy this and buy that. So those are also some side effects. On the second, the government also can provide market forecast information like demand and price to the farmer for free. So again, I take Indian example, same as they write this form, they can send the information to the farmers, say, okay, tomorrow, today the market price for the eggplant, for example, is how much dollar, in which city, in which town. So the farmers know where to sell it has a better price, right? So another they also information has based on our information, the government they have different information sources. This year the demand for example, eggplant is how much. So this information provision will give the farmer a better idea about the market situation. Then they can decide how much to grow, how much to plant, just long-term production decision. So that's the first two obstacles, right? I'm talking about. Certainly, the issue about the high increasing input and output costs, which our farmers have limited financial sources. Government now were also especially in developing countries, we are providing various subsidies to help farmers reduce their operational costs. So, for example, look at an example I gave for the input, right? Increasing input purchasing costs. Some governments has offered input-based subsidies to reduce those input purchasing costs. For example, like the fertilizer subsidy in Mali, seed subsidy in India. Similarly, the output-based subsidy has also been offered to lower farmers' output processing cost. For example, the transportation cost subsidy in India and storage and harvest cost subsidy in Thailand to help farmers reduce their, harvest the cost for harvesting and sales to the market. All those subsidies are provided by the government in the hope can motivate farmers produce more, earn more, and also improve their income as well as help increase the food security. So those are the motivations. And based on those things we're talking about, this motivates us to consider the following questions. So if the government really provides market information and agricultural advice free to the farmers, shall the farmers adopt those information? And are those information welfare improving for the farmers, which means it improves their incomes? Second, when the government offers those subsidies, now input and output-based subsidies, how it affects farmers again their welfare as well as consumer surplus and income inequality, and what is the optimal subsidy scheme? If we ask further, shall the government adopt? So under what conditions? So to tackle those the effect of those market, government intervention programs' effectiveness, we have to build some mathematical analytical model, right, to solve the problem. So now let me introduce some models I have been set up to look at those issues. So for the effect of agricultural advice and market information, we consider a very parsimonious stylized model with two farmers to make things simple. And this produces same crop in a common market. So we consider, so farmers will occur a production cost C. So here we do not consider, input output cost. Now we are focusing on the agricultural advice and market information. So we consider that each farmer incur a unit production cost C and make the production decision Q. And then the output, real-line output, because there's a yield uncertainty, right? That is a unique feature of agriculture planting. Different from factory, you input 1 unit, you get 1 unit out. But in the agriculture, input 1, you may get less than 1 because some, in the process, some die, etc. So there's a yield uncertainty. So the output is only Zi times Qi for farmer I, where Zi is a yield rate, which is less than 1. No more than 1, right? If it's equal to 1, it's perfect. And also we assume those the i's on the yield rate has a mean mu y and a variance of sigma y to the power of 2. Because market is uncertain, so that's why there is uncertainty. We use I assume market potential. We use M to denote. We assume the market potential M uncertainty follow a normal distribution with mean mu m and sigma square m m to the power 2 is the variance. The very standardized model of a market clearance price, where given the market potential M and realize the output of 2 farmers, Z1 Q1 plus Z2 Q2, then the price is just M minus the total output. So that's what we're doing. And so government is going to provide market information, I, to the farmer to help improve the farmer's forecast of the market demand potential M. So we assume M and information I and market potential M are both information is also government collect information from the markets. So I is not something certain. It's the information curve for market is also a random variable. So this information I and market point I M, these 2 random variable we assume they follow a joint normal distribution, where the row will indicate the correlation coefficient between the information I and the market potential M. Then based on this one, we conditional on the correct information I, then we can update our expectation about the market potential M. So then we can derive its expectation and its variance conditional on the I, the condition distribution of the M. So what we can show is that conditional on the alpha prime information I, the market potential M's conditional probability, conditional distribution's variance is smaller than its own variance. What does that mean? That each farmer can use the information I to obtain a more accurate forecast of the market potential and to determine his own production quantity QI, because the variance now, given the information, becomes smaller. So which is reduce the uncertainty about the market potential M. As for agriculture advice, we consider 3 effects of agriculture advice on the farmers. So by taking advice, they know do proper planning. So as a way, so it can help them to reduce their cost of the production cost, reduce from C to beta C. And also, because it knows how to properly produce, when to water, when to apply those fertilizers, etc., the output quality will be better. So there's a quality improvement of the output of the products. And we indirectly reflect this quality improvement by improved market potential. So we assume that when the crop has a better quality, the demand will be larger. So the market potential M will increase to alpha times M, where alpha is greater than 1. And then the mean, so expected market potential, the average market potential will increase to alpha times mu M, while this variance will be unaffected. And also, because there knows the best way to do the planting, so the process yield rate also will be enhanced, which means you can output more. So originally they can only output ZI QI units. Now they can output ZI to the prime and QI price. And we assume that the new output I have a pen here. No, maybe not. The new output Zi prime is with a mean will change from the alpha times mu1. Mu1 is the original yield rate average. So the average yield rate will increase by a parameter gamma, and this gamma is greater than 1. So that's all the good thing about anchor advice: cost reduction, quality improvement, and plus yield rate enhancement. However, there's maybe a drawback is sometimes adopting agriculture advice, the farmer may incur some upfront investment key. So this is a cost may encounter. So for subsidy program, how we model it? So to ensure the subsidy program offered to a group of farmers. So in the advice and market information, we make things simple. We only consider 2 farmers. But when we offer subsidy, we cannot offer only to 2, right? So instead, we consider a continuum of infinitesimal farmers. So which you can think of very small, with a size normalized to 1, produce and sell still the same crop in a common market. So it's different from that 1. Information, we only consider 2 farmers, but when to the subsidy, we cannot just give 2. We consider a continuum of infinitesimal farmers. So still, and then when we consider, we do a little bit more. We consider farmers now are heterogeneous in their endowment resources. For example, as they say, their farming knowledge differs, their soil quality differs, etc. But which are uniformly distributed between 0 and 1. You can think of, I'm from Sichuan, right? Some farmers and near the river, some farmers are on the top of mountain, so their access to the water differs. As a result, their output, their endowed resources are differs. Still, there's yield uncertainty. When we focus on the rates, advice and market, we consider 2 farmers same yield rate ZI. But here, when we consider continual farmers, they may differ also in their yield rate, right? So we consider the yield rate of the farmers are depending on their endowment resource alpha. Let me see where I can have a pen to do so. Maybe I forgot. That's it. So then the endowment resource R, so which give their yield rate mu R. Of course, when the farmer has more endowed resource R, their yield rate mu R is increasing. And there is also a random term, the epsilon, the common yield uncertainty. So farmer, for example, in the same area, they all face the same uncertain weather, rainfall, then affect their, the farmers in the same region. And we think this uncertainty is normal, is mean with 1 and variance sigma square. So which if you refer to the previous, we have the mean the mean there is like mu, here is times is mu R, there is 1, right? So then before the growing season, every farmer have R with endowment resource R, we call it farmer R. Choose their planting quantity QR, and then have output quantity, which is QR, times their yield output YR. Then we can calculate the total input of all farmers and total output of all farmers. For time issue, I will not go into detailed math. And for the production cost, we consider each farmer incurs 2 types of cost. Of course, one is the input purchasing cost, and you cover the cost of seeds, fertilizers, and the labor. So the first, the seeds and fertilizer, which is linear in the quantity of QR, so which we use alpha times QR. But labor cost, we consider when they produce more, the cost of the labor is taking quadratic form, beta times QR square of 2, which the beta captures the farmer's effort cost. So basically, the farmers, it become more cost. When they plant more, they cost them more. And for the output processing cost, which is basically when they harvest, for each quantity of harvesting, they need, do the transportation, they need to storage and send to the market to sell. We assume the output processing cost, which covers the transportation and storage cost for per unit, and this cost is T. So Farmers, same as before, farmers are price takers. Their total quantity Q sent to the market, and market carrying price is same as before, is P equal to the market potential M minus the B times Q. Q is the total output. Here we have in the preferred model, the B equal to 1. Here we just add one more factor, B is here. Of course, B is not really play any. If we need B equal to 1, our result remains the same. So then, and for the starting of season, right, farmer decides their production quantity QR to maximize expected income or welfare. So two subsidies programs. So if the government into the input-based subsidy scheme, basically we assume government offers a subsidy data for each input unit, like seeds, fertilizers, so that effective unit cost is reduced from alpha to alpha mass data. So remember, our cost here subsidy is on the unit of inputs, not on the labor, because the government very hard to audit the neighboring cost of farmers, which is costly to audit. So but it's very easy for them to find the information about the cost of the buying seeds and fertilizer. So that's why an input-based subsidy is normally on the purchasing. And for the output-based subsidy, government offers subsidy theta for each output unit, so that the effective unit processing cost for the output reduced from T to T minus theta. So that's all the subsidy programs offer. Of course, government are not silly, right? They will not offer a subsidy higher than the cost the farmer incur, which means the input subsidy theta when less than alpha, the output subsidy is input cost delta when less than alpha, and output subsidy theta when less than T. So we have this upper bound constraint there. And the government will decide their subsidy, scheme, what is it, delta and the theta to maximize social welfare, and subject to a budget constraint, because in developing countries, government also have limited budget. They have to earmark their budget for each items. So we assume there's a upper bound budgets omega, so which is a constraint facing by the government. So the social welfare government consider is three parts. First is a pie, which is the total farmers' income, which represents farmer welfare. Second is consumer surplus, not because government pay money. So it's different from the advice and the information where government do not really subsidize, monetize to the farmers. Now they really give money to the, farmer help them. They want to also be benefit to their consumer citizens. So second is the consumer surplus meal. And third one is also government care about the effect of their subsidy program on reducing the income inequality among farmers, where we consider the population's income inequality measured by the Gini coefficient G. For the timeline, I will not go into detail about how we derive those, but you can find those in our paper. And the weight government will put a weight lambda to see how much they concern about reducing the aggregate income inequality. So the total social welfare W equal to the farmer welfare pi plus the consumer surplus mu minus the lambda times Gini coefficient. So that's what we're doing. So now let's move to the analysis part. I will not really go into detail. So for the market information and agricultural advice, we want to see their implication on the farmers. We consider a very meta game. So where each farmer 1, farmer 2, can either adopt, which yes, or not adopt, no, the market information or agricultural advice. Then we have this, in the slides, we have this 2x2 table, right? 2x2 table where both adopt, both not adopt, one adopt, and one not adopt. And also, upfront makes things simple, assume the investment cost K equals 0. Then we derive the subgame for each strategy scenarios, we derive the farmer's optimal production distance and the equilibrium outcomes. By comparing the equilibrium outcome under the 4 scenarios, we find that if there's no upfront investment cost, which is K equal to 0, the strategy YY in which both farmers utilize the given the market information or agricultural advice is a unique equilibrium. Moreover, such information provision by the government is welfare improving for the two farmers. So which is a win-win. It's good. So however, this is a joint effect, right? So we want to see the separate impact of if I only offer market information to the farmer, or if only offer agricultural advice to the farmer, what will be the issue? So we also, based on those equilibrium outcome we derive, we can also find that if the government only offers market information, still both farmers will use market information equilibrium, and the farmer who with the market information also has no incentive to share such information with a competitor if the competitor, do not adopt it. Interestingly, now we show farmers' total welfare may not necessarily improving. The provision of the market information will welfare improving only if the process yield is very uncertain. The reason is the market information provision more accurate information may intensify the market competition, so which may hurt the farmers. So only when the process yield rate is highly uncertain, so which kind of mitigates such the competition effect and can be welfare improved. Next, we look at what if only the government only offers the agricultural advice. How we think fine. We find that now different from the market information under which all farmers will adopt market information. And the agricultural advice is really depend on whether there is upfront investment cost to fund advice or not. The farmers may not have incentive to adopt agricultural advice. They may not follow. Especially the upfront investment cost is high, no farmer will adopt the agricultural advice. And if this kind of cost is intermediate, only one farmer will adopt, while the other one will not. And if this cost, so only when this such kind of investment is sufficient small or zero, both farmers will adopt the agricultural advice. So this is that. So offering agricultural advice itself is not sufficient to ensure the total farmers' welfare can be improved, right? So this is our implication. This is very insightful, as I said, it helps the government. If you want the farmers really to adopt the advice, improve total farmer welfare, you may offer subsidy then to help the farmer to purchase the upfront investment. You may subsidize the farmers to offer subsidy, so then the effective upfront investment borne by each farmer can be lower. So this is actually as a result is a justification why sometimes the government in the developing countries will offer subsidies to the farmers to buy the equipment and those things. So that's why based on this study, we further to look at subsidy scheme. So that's the reason based on we find subsidies important. So I will not go into the math, but basically you can see given this, for example, if we consider input subsidy, given the subsidy, the unit planning cost with reduction, right, from alpha to alpha minus the delta, then we can derive the farmer's expected income, and also we can show the farmer's optimal planting quantities and equilibrium profits. So let me tell you the main insights. So what we find is under input subsidies, it is always beneficial to the no-yield farmers, which the endowment resource alpha is small. But actually, input subsidy may hurt the high-yield farmers who has a higher endowed resources. Also, an increase of the input subsidies always reduce the aggregate income inequality in terms of the Gini coefficient and can narrow the income gap in most of cases. While a high yield uncertainty also can decrease the income gap by increasing the aggregate income inequality measured by Gini coefficient. So that's our input subsidy. Basically, what you can see then is not everybody can benefit from input subsidy, right? High yield farmer may hurt. And the income gap, I forgot to mention income gap before. Income gap, what we mean is if two farmers compare their income difference, before giving a subsidy. So we want to see this income gap with the offer of subsidy can reduce the relative income gap between two farmer or lots. But we can see that input subsidy always reduce the total aggregate income inequality, right, for the whole population. And it can also narrow the income gap between each individual farmers, so which is good. We can do the same thing, and we can also find the government's optimal subsidy design. Similar to the output subsidy, we can do the same mathematical things. Then what we find then, different from input subsidy now, output subsidy, because it is it's subsidized every unit of output. So which in this means it is equivalent no matter you are high or no yield farmers, right? And high yield farmer can actually get more output subsidy. So we find now the output subsidy beneficial to both the high and low yield farmers. However, different from before now, output-based subsidy because they subsidize more the high yield farmers. So they actually widen the income gap between the two farmers with different endowed resources. But it can still reduce the aggregate income inequality in terms of Gini coefficient. And similarly, for the yield uncertainty, if we put before, we got the same result out about as the input subsidy. The high yield uncertainty can help reduce the income gap because yield uncertainty increase, mitigate competition. As a result, the income difference is smaller between the farmers, but still yield uncertainty will increase the aggregate income inequality measured by Gini coefficient because of the farmers, their endowed resources differs. Then we can also find the optimal government's optimal output subsidy design, which I will not talk about here. So then what we really want to see is the effects of different subsidy on the system. So firstly, we show that farmers have different preference. High yield farmers will prefer output subsidy, while low yield farmers prefer input subsidy. And we see how if the government care about reduce the income inequality, then input subsidy will be more effective and more preferred since they are more capable of reducing income inequality and improving consumer surplus. But if the government more care about farmers' total welfare, their total income, then output-based subsidy shall be more effective and be preferred by government. So overall, the government should adopt the input subsidy scheme only if they put a high weight on the reducing income inequality. So that's our result. Otherwise, the government should adopt the output subsidy, which will help improve farmers' welfare. So that's our results. So let me quickly summarize. So without considering the upfront investment, we find that both farmers will utilize market information and also which is welfare improving. However, if we only offer one information source, such as market information, still farmers, other farmers will utilize such information. However, such information may not necessarily improve farmer welfare. Agriculture advice, if offered, the farmers may not have incentive to adopt such advice, only if their upfront investment is below a certain threshold, if they follow the advice. Otherwise, they will not listen to it. And again, agricultural advice is not necessarily welfare improving. So subsidy may be offered by the government to incentivize the farmers to adopt agricultural advice. Lastly, for the input subsidy and output subsidy, these two subsidies to reduce the farmers' operational costs, we find that each subsidy has their own unique advantage. So output subsidy is better in improving farmer welfare. Input subsidy is better in reducing income inequality. So that's why the government should take a trade-off between these two and decide which one to adopt. I think that's all I want to share. So I basically talk about how the government 3 ways of intervention to help farmer make wiser decision. But our results show that those intervention may not necessarily welfare improving and may not be beneficial to everyone. So that's why there's a trade-off the government should take into account to make its final decision. So thank you. So is there Yijia? I think I finished.
Thank you, Professor Wang, for good presentation. Thank you for presentation. Whether we have any questions, maybe you can, all the audience, maybe you can ask or cast your question in the chat box.
Yeah, if you have any question, it's more than my pleasure to answer it.
Because I know, I think I know, I also discussed with you.
Okay.
So currently, you also know that the China is the low yield farmers. There are too many low yield farmers in China. So the government is to advise that it's more like a third party service. We call it farming as a service. Ask the third party company or some organization, they conduct the farming service or some farming task for the farmers. So whether you think it's an interesting question or whether you find some research opportunities in this topic or in this strategy, since we have some students, or master students or PhD students, they are in the online and they conduct this research. Thank you.
Oh yeah, very good question. So I think basically you have the third party to provide advice, right? Help farmer to do proper planning. So basically you want to see this third party intervention will be helping to the whole industry or not. Their service is valuable from point of view of the farmer welfare, from point of view of consumer surplus. Because in this way, the proper production can also, in my early paper, we look at this information provision, we do not take consumer surplus into account. But today, as we see, the food security is a big issue. You can also see those ones, whether they can help farmer do proper, they can plan more and produce more. So you can actually see how then also affect consumer surplus. I think that is a good angle, right? So may not necessarily welfare improving for farmers, but if you take the consumer surplus into account, maybe it is a win. It's actually better for the whole society. The overall social welfare may be improved if we take this consumer into account. Second one, of course, is when the third party, this party enter this industry to give the farmer is different from government who is for free, right? I show you the picture about Indian, they just text message the farmers in their network, hi, tomorrow is raining, now you should plant the soybean, whatever then they do. But this third party, I think I don't know, they are NGO organization or they try to at least make some money. So that's why this one, so you want to see this guy's role there, then what it can, how to really, align the incentive with the farmers and what they shall do. I think it's interesting because you bring the third party, but this third party is a for-profit, it's an NGO, and also this third party, whether they can help farmer to get everything together and then sell to a market, then they have some kind of bargaining power. So it's an aggregator. So I think this third party, maybe you can think, what is this third party's role there? Can this third party really helping to achieve some win-win, which I think is quite interesting research angle, which if there's really happening in China, I think it's worthwhile to take a deeper look into the issues there.
Okay, thank you, Professor Wang. We need to some thinking to observe for my own research. Thank you, Professor Wang. Are there any questions for our participants online or? Okay, if there's no other questions, I guess maybe some of you, if you have other questions, you may email Professor Wang. She will be very nice to answer some of your concerns.
I think there's one question. Maybe I take just 1 minute to look.
Okay.
Why does quality improvement only affect the market? The mean of the market demand, not the variance. Does better quality might make the market more stable? It's a very good question. So basically, you think traditional, economic model, right? We have a market, the demand equal to M minus Q. Just a very simple one. In marketing, this M can represent market potential. We can write like Q. So Q minus M. So that's why in this paper, we think the reason why we think the quality improvement can transfer to the market potential. So the Q, this market potential, Q quality into the M will enlarge. But you do not, but this enlarge just this space, right? The more people will buy. You do not enlarge the uncertainty. Uncertainty is like, so basically we have one, we can extract more people inside, but we do not make the uncertainty bigger because there's this. So you basically, you can think there's inject some new people inside. So we do not think it makes stable. So if the market potential is a group of the size with some randomness uncertainty, right? Which means we don't know this ranges, the range of the demand, right? So now the range of demand we still don't know, but we know the average mean shift to the right. So then I don't know, I explain or not. So because basically quality improvement, we do not, the uncertainty is still there. So what I know is I have a better quality. So my mean, how much, the potential, the mean demand will shift to the right. So we shift our mean to the right. We know there's on average more people will buy mine, but this uncertainty still remains there. So do I explain my question clear? So you can think there's a distribution with mu and the sigma square. So now in the old time, this mu is my quality, original quality. I can expecting to sell to mu group, the mu people. But now with my improved quality, I know it become more attractive since the average demand of this group of people is shifted right, but the variance still there. So you can think it's a distribution shift mean to the right. But then the distribution underlying still the same market, we do not change any uncertainty, right? We do not bring any new factor into this market. So I think from a distribution to think. So that's why you just make it mean right, shift right, but then the underlying uncertainty not change. I hope I explained this one clearly. So 潜力, right? Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Professor Wang. It's really my honor to enjoy this presentation. Thank you, Professor Wang.
Thank you.
See you later.
See you.
Hope to see you in Hong Kong or overseas.
Yeah. Welcome to visit me at your convenience time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for having me here. Bye. Yeah. Welcome to visit me at your convenience time.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Professor Chen.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, please. Okay, let's welcome our second speaker, Professor Kim Hua Tan. I should say that Professor Kim Hua Tan is really my friend. We meet each other maybe 5 or 6 years ago. He is very kind. Before his presentation, please allow me briefly to reintroduce his research because the time is limited. Dr. Kim Hua Tan is a professor of operations and innovation management in the UK Nottingham University Business School. He serves as Associate Dean for Research of NUBSHK in January 2022 to March 2023. Professor Chang is Senior Fellow of HK Higher Education Academy and also Fellow of JSPS and also World-Class Professorship of Institute Technology of ITIs. Prior to this, he was a research fellow and a teaching assistant in Center for Strategy Performance, University of Cambridge. Professor Tan spent many years in industry, holding various positions before joining academia before 2000. Professor Tan is also the world's top 2 most cited scientists, according to Stanford and also elsewhere in 2024. Moreover, he is also on 2024 ranking of the world best scientists in business and management. His current H index is 6. It's really high, and his main research interests are innovation, lean and management, operations strategy, digital transformation, and also sustainable operations and also supply chain management. Professor Tan has consulted many companies and appointed as our common future fellow by Walken Foundation in 2009. He has been PI for various grants from EPSRC, ESRC, and also GSPS, and also in NSFC. There are so many and other international funding institutions. Professor Tan has published various books, including Winning Decisions, Translating Business Strategy into Action Plans, and more than 150 high-impact articles in academic journals. So today his presentation topic is blockchain adoption for pepper smallholder farmers and buyers. Okay, Professor Tan, it's your time.
Thank you, Bill, for the introductions, and many thanks for having me here. Let me see how can I share screen. Yeah. Thank you, Bill, for the introductions. Many thanks for having me here. Let me see how can I share screen. Yeah.
Okay, we can see your speech.
Is everything okay? Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Very good. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello from Taichung. I'm now in Taichung for a research project. Not about blockchain, but on this digital transformation and innovation. So today I want to share with you on the recent project I just completed last year on how we apply this blockchain to enhance the pepper supply chain transparency. Yeah, so it serves 2 purposes. One is to enhance food safety, because nowadays we all care about our health. Everything that you buy from the supermarket and so on, we want to make sure that it's safe to be eaten, right? So this blockchain application in the food supply chain is very important. And the other objective is to help the small farmers and or what I call the pepper growers. Yeah, because once we have this blockchain supply chain, then we can sort of link these small farmers into global value chain, so that end consumer are able to see clearly, where that particular pepper come from. So indirectly, they can use their buying power to help these farmers or growers. Right. So I think Professor Bill Wang already introduced about me. So I think I'm going to skip this one. Otherwise, it will take another 1 hour for me to introduce myself. But yeah, basically my research very much into also innovation. So I'm so happy that the latest Scholar GPS ranked me as number 1 in the world when it comes to this innovation, new product development, which I've been doing a lot of research in this area. So in terms of the today presentation, there are sort of 4 sections. First, I'm going to give you some background so that you understand why I want to work on this research. Why paper? Why blockchain? So that I do more research into innovation, or supply chain strategy. Why wasting time on this blockchain? Okay. And then I'm going to briefly talk about blockchain in the food supply chain. I believe you all have more understanding or knowledge about blockchain than me. So I'm going to briefly skip the background or the basic about blockchain, but more sharing with you about how we apply blockchain in the food supply chain. So we're not going into the theory or the background of the blockchain, because I believe you all know better than me on this particular application. And then I will share with you some of our findings in terms of the opportunity and challenges in the project. Right. So it started in 2020, the project, and then ended in the last year. Actually, it's funded by the Future Food Beacon. Okay, so the aim is to identify the opportunity and challenges of blockchain application in the agri-food supply chain. Any agri-food. But in this project, we chose the pepper supply chain in Uganda. So later on, I will justify to you why in pepper supply chain, why Uganda, why not China or Japan or Malaysia, for example. And as part of the project, we want to understand the capabilities, for the stakeholders to adopt the blockchain in the food supply chain. Just a bit of background. I employ RA, research assistant, Emmanuel Acho. He actually used to be an executive at Syngenta. Syngenta in Chinese is Xianzhengda. I think if you are in the agriculture industry or business, I'm sure you heard about this company. So he used to be an executive at based in Switzerland. So when he started the project, in 2020, but now he graduated because he also do this PhD as part of the project. So he is now Dr. Acho. So I'm lucky to have him to help me on this project, because by myself it's impossible to implement a blockchain in the food supply chain. Right. So we have that funding, we have that project. So we then scope around what kind of agri-food we should target. And as I mentioned, Dr. Acho, he used to be a Syngenta executive, so he traveled around the world looking at the agriculture, agri-food industry and business all over the world. And background from Africa, so he has a good contact or knowledge about Africa, agri-food and so on, right? And so happened that we also have a good connection with Uganda, and Uganda used to export 70% of the kind of pepper to Europe, or 70% of the pepper export from Uganda actually to Europe. So it's a big supplier of pepper in the world. Okay, and then most of the farmer growers, pepper grower in Uganda are smallholders, and usually women, and they sort of not linked to the global value chain, so they sort of being exploited. So part of the project is to first to understand the application of the blockchain in the agri-food and issue and challenges, and secondly is to help these small growers in Uganda. Especially during that time, due to the COVID, I think the EU stepped up the kind of checking on the imported food, and especially from Africa. So there was 641% increase in the number of interception of Uganda pepper export to EU. So that is a lot. So most of the this pepper consignment for Uganda will stop at the EU border, and then the whole rejected consignment will be dumped into the ocean or destroyed. So imagine the poor farmers, millions or thousands of farmers, pepper farmers in Uganda, who spend weeks or months to grow the pepper and they get nothing at all. Yeah, because if the pepper are not sold to EU, so the exporter will not pay the middleman or the brokers, and the broker will not pay the farmers. Yeah, and then worse still, this is not transparent. So the farmer or the growers have to rely on the brokers or middlemen or exporters to tell them. So they don't have any information at all. Yeah. So sometimes the exporters or broker may lie to them. Yeah. They say, oh, sorry, a lot of problems with that particular consignment. Too many pesticide or level is too high, too much chemical. EU rejected them. So no money for you, for example. Right? So that is not good. Yeah. And the other challenges is that there are too many small growers in Uganda. Yeah. And then the existing supply chain is not very kind of structured or systematic. Grower can sell the product to any exporters or to any brokers. Basically, based on our research, we found that there is lack of trust. Yeah, and among these people, growers, broker, and exporters, and also there are lack of infrastructure or kind of equipment, for example, to test the pesticide residues, for example, to check whether there is a presence of this small organisms like FCM in the paper. So most of the time they have to use their naked eyes, to detect, to do the quality control. But when they come to EU, of course, EU is more advanced. The border staff, they have a lot of very high advanced equipment and so on. So they will detect these small organisms or excessive chemical residues and so on and so forth. Yeah. So these are the challenges and the issue facing by the small farmer or the pepper supply chain in Uganda. Okay. Right, I have explained to you a lot of things. I think it's better for me to show you kind of data from the field. So in the video, you're going to briefly, it's a very short video, don't worry. See Dr. Acho having a conversation with the farmer and then brokers and then also the exporter, and then discuss the issue that they are facing, like for example, the FCM, the organisms. So how can they identify them? Or there's lack of transparency in the whole process, trust, honesty, payment, and so on. Right. So I'm going to show you the video now. So let me see what can I do. Stop sharing. And then I go sharing again, I think, right? I go sharing of the video. Yes, this one. Right. Can you hear? Can you hear the audio?
Yes.
Yes? Good.
Baby hot pepper. Probably, I don't know, stage 2. Don't ask me how many stages there are. But it has to go from this to this. And then to this. This is what is actually sent to the UK and every other place.
Ate nimbezo nyingi nnyo waliwo n'ettale eyagala nakunambuza balimu
obaagala nti ezo yangu awaŋŋambye yagala nzenzeka.
Okay.
It's a fungal disease.
Fungal disease.
Yeah.
FCM.
Modern research instead of writing. Okay.
Yeah, what is
So
the
what
false
I'm
coding?
saying, that you see this is a fruit fly. You see this?
That small thing there.
Yes, fruit fly. Isn't it, Stevie?
Just it's effect.
They eating, eating the fruit fly.
Isaac,
So
oyamala.
now you brought a sample, the packing out.
Jangu awulirize bye twetaaga.
Supposing now, like I just took a sample space from your supply, your produce, your delivery. I take out like 10 of them. I find they have this effect of the fruit fly. Chances are that your hot pepper will maybe be infested with the FCM, right? So that means I'm going to be very, very critical while I'm sorting. So you will realize that you can see the FCM visually, just that I've not seen any so far. Visually, you can see it. You can even see its eggs, the FCM, because it's basically what causes the interceptions at the airport, leaving the MRLs and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
So obviously FCM, but then you have to treat it. So you spray, and sometimes you overspray, or you spray the wrong thing.
Or you eat the wrong thing, and sometimes the wrong intervals.
Okay.
So the reason you say I'm breaking, I'm trying to see if it's infested with the FCM, but luckily enough, I've not seen
Olabye kala gye baagala.
the caretaker, and ask him when he last sprayed, and he has to be honest, because if he's not honest, you're going to supply me your hot pepper, I send it to him, it gets intercepted, I've incurred flight costs. He has to clear it. I'm not going to pay you. You're not going to be happy.
Okay.
Right. So there's a first video about background of the issues. I'm going to move on to my presentation. This one. Yeah, I can show another video later. Can you see the slide now? Right. Good. Now, where is the button? Right. So these EU interceptions result in the loss of income for this Uganda exporter and the small farmer. Yeah. So part of the aim of our project is to test a pilot test a kind of a blockchain paper supply chain so that could help to enhance to lift the livelihoods of the small growers or farmers in the Uganda, at the same time to enhance the food safety in the EU. Okay, so that is a kind of background of the project and the research. So you can see the pack house, and this is considered one of the largest and most advanced exporter in Uganda, in Kampala. You can see that they are very basic. Yeah, so everything is sorted by hand, put it on the table, use the naked eyes. There are no equipment, high tech equipment or whatever. So there are a lot of issues with lack of information, missing information, or the information provided is not reliable, and so on and so forth. So those are the challenges faced by the farmers and the exporters in the paper supply chain in Uganda. So the research background I just explained to you. Now I'm going to move on to how we're going to apply this blockchain in the paper food supply paper supply chain in Uganda. So Dr. Acho spent almost a year or more in Uganda just to map up the paper supply chain. The variety of the paper that you saw in the video is called Scott bonnet. It's named after Scottish people who discovered the variety. So I think I'm not sure it's very common or not, that kind of pepper or chili in China, but it's very common in UK because we import them from Uganda. And it's very, very spicy. But anyway, you can see that there are many small farmers, thousands or millions of them, and then they sell the product directly to the brokers. Over there they call brokers, but some people might call them middlemen. I think it's the same thing there. Or they sell directly to the exporters. Yeah, so depend on the promise, the relationship, the trust with the brokers and exporters. So the farmers make their own decision, whether they want to sell to which party, and also depend on their location. Yeah, some farmers are very in the far away in the remote area. They have to walk without shoes for 2-3 days to reach the brokers or exporters and so on. So in that case, they tend to sell it to the nearest brokers and so on. But those have closer to the city, I think they have more choices to sell to people they want. Yeah, and they also highlight another issues, the issue of the transportation, because Uganda is it's a hot country. Yeah, and then without proper packaging, transportation infrastructure, so sometimes they also have an impact on the quality of the products and so on and so forth. Yeah, and then from the exporter side, then they have the government regulators, inspector to check through the product quality, the chemical residues, and then this FCM and so on. So you may say, well, if they already check it, then there shouldn't be any issue for them to export to EU. Yeah, you are right. The regulators, they check it, the officers check it, but they do not have the high-tech or advanced kind of equipment or infrastructure. They mainly also use the naked eyes to have a check. That, for example, you saw in the video, you just take a pepper and break it open and see whether there's any fruit fly inside. If there is nothing, then the whole consignment is approved. Yeah, so that is not good enough, of course. When it comes to EU will check it quite thoroughly. Okay, and then through the clearing agent, and then they have the kind of corresponding importer in the EU, whether it's in France or in Spain or in the UK and so on. Yeah, and then finally to the wholesaler and then to the retailers. I'm not going to go through all this point here because I already mentioned some of them already, and also in light of the time. So this is what we want to achieve, right? We want to develop what we call a Scotch chain, Scott bonnet blockchain, Scott chain for our project. So basically, this is just to highlight to you our vision. This is what once we finish the product, our pilot test. Okay, if you are a consumer in the UK or in France or in Germany and so on, you go to supermarket and you see a kind of a pack or a box of Scott bonnet, and then you can just use your barcode, scan it, and then you will see a lot of information about the particular batch or particular package of pepper. For example, a picture of the farmer, her name, how much she can get roughly from that pack of pepper. For example, if you pay £3, because nowadays due to inflation, pepper are very expensive. £3 for that particular pack of pepper. How much she get? Whether she get 10p or she get only 1p, and then so that the consumer can use their buying power, to play the part in influencing the pepper supply chain. Yeah. So the small farmer with our side, small farmer side, we're going to have the RFID tag. Yeah, that capture the information like pesticide they use, how often they spray it, the variety of the fertilizer, the name of the farmer, gender, age, and so on. All kind of information that is needed for us to have a kind of a transparency in the pepper supply chain. Yeah, and then this one will link out in the blockchain, and then we're going to. At that time, our point was whether we want to develop ourselves or we sort of talk to IBM. We can use their existing system to implement this pepper blockchain in our project. But because of the ChatGPT and so on and so forth, Dr. Acho and I decided to do it ourselves. Yeah, but it's not that difficult. Yeah, but it's going to cost us money. Because the key actor in the project, it will be the small farmers, the pepper suppliers, the growers in Uganda, and then Nottingham University in the UK, and then the local university Makerere in Kampala, going to work with us as a collaborator, because as a foreigner or foreign university, we can't just simply go to Uganda and tell them what to do. They say, oh, you should do this, you should implement this, and so on. Yeah, so we need to work with local kind of university, and then there is a kind of our middleman. to educate the farmer, the grower, the exporters, and so on. Yeah, so everything that we do, we discuss with them, kind of a knowledge and technology transfer to them, and they are the ones that implement it in Uganda. Okay, it's not like we go there, do whatever we want, and then see the result. Yeah, so that is not possible. And then the exporters, so we can't do everything ourselves because this is quite complicated. Exporter will work on the QR code, the packaging solutions, and then the EU importers will contribute in terms of the process verification, the kind of data, the kind of distributed network, the blockchain setup. And then we also have the involvement of the Uganda Export Promotion Board, because they are kind of the officer, the minister, and so on. So we can get the buy-in from the farmers. Otherwise, the farmer will not collaborate with us. The farmer, they are very busy. They have to grow chili. They have family to feed. A lot of things. They are not sitting there doing nothing, waiting for us to work with them. So we need to get a lot of approval, and then local support, and also a lot of funding. You have to pay them as well. Yeah, because if they spend 1 hour, 2 hours with you, you have to pay them money because that is the time they lost for their work and so on. So you have to pay them as well. Yeah, and then UK retailers in terms of the pilot testing for the end user and so on. So this is exactly what we want to do, and I just simply sum it up. So the blockchain technology will make available all information about the paper, about the production, the processing, the transportation, the packaging, the originality, and then the expiration date and other data like the cost and so on. Yeah, so we all will be captured and then in the blockchain and in the distributed network for all the parties involved. So let me give you a better visualization and explanation about this scope change in our project. So one of the key challenges we face in the project is to get the buy-in from the farmers. The farmer, why we need to work with you? Why? What are the advantages? What are our benefits? Yeah, as I discussed just now, we want to help them, right? We want to link them to the global value chain to make the whole process more transparent, more visibility, so that they will not be exploited, by the downstream retailers and middlemen and so on. But from their perspective is they may not see them right away, so they want to know why. So convincing them is very, very important. I believe not just in our projects, for any blockchain, food blockchain project, it's very, very important you get the buy-in from the collaborators. So for simplicity, assuming they are a grower, a broker, and then an exporter, and then export to EU. Okay. So if the particular consignment is successfully accepted by EU, and then this, for example, Y, and then the broker will get the exporter will get 1/3 of that, and then the broker exporter will then pay the middleman, 1/3 of that, and the middleman and then will pay the grower. So everybody happy. Okay. So, however, if the particular consignment is rejected at the EU border, then the whole consignment will be destroyed. In this particular case, exporter, grower, and the middleman get nothing. So all stakeholders are better off when the paper are exported. Because Y is bigger than zero is better than zero, right? So we use this very simple illustration, kind of a visualization to convince the grower and also the exporter, and then also the brokers to participate in the project, to say how a transparent, visible supply chain is better off for them, especially the grower. As I mentioned before, at the exporter side, if the lack of kind of transparency, asymmetry of information. So sometimes the exporter may lie to the grower and also the middleman. They say, oh, the whole consignment already been rejected, so we don't get any money, and so on. By using this simple illustration, we can let everybody know why this project can benefit them. Okay, and then we show that the existing supply chain, what are the issue, and then a blockchain kind of enable hot paper supply chain will be better for them, because with blockchain technology, the information, I think I already explained that before, will be available to all stakeholders in the supply chain. And the growers and brokers, they will know if the hot paper have been exported and what payoff they should expect. That is very important. There's going to be no room for hanky-panky. Okay, before using the manual process, there are many rooms, for the exporters, even for the farmers, for them to do something, to lie and so on, right? So with this particular explanation, you can see that the growers have the incentive to ensure that the papers meet the EU regulation and food safety quality criteria. Because they will see that, if they lie, or if they don't fill in all the information, like for example, what kind of pesticide they use, fertilizer and so on, what kind of pepper variety they use in the farm and so on. So that particular whole consignment may be rejected. So that's not good. So using this kind of explanation, we allocate the growers, middlemen, and also exporters. So it's better for them to trust each other and share information and so on. So this is very, very important to get the buy-in. It's not just about blockchain, the technology, and then you go implement it, and then you see the result. It's not like that. Because it's not us who's going to be there all the time to gather the data, put into the blockchain and so on. You have to be the oldest participant in the paper supply chain. So I'm not going to show this video because I run out of time now, and but the link is here. Later on, you can go on YouTube to look at how company already using this blockchain for the coffee supply chain to improve food safety, recalls, product quality, and so on. And also, I believe most of you like this olive oil, and then you also can see how olive oil company, especially this very famous one, Terra, has been working with IBM to implement kind of blockchain in their olive oil supply chain, so that a consumer can just scan the barcode and see, have a full transparency or visibility of the olive oil supply chain. So I'm not going to talk about this, but basically this characteristic of a blockchain talk about I mentioned briefly just now about the transparency, reliability, security, anonymity, decentralization. So these are all the characteristics of the blockchain that have to be covered in our paper supply chain. And there are also many types of blockchain. Again, I'm not going to elaborate on this, public, private, consortium, and so on. For our project, we want to use the kind of public types of blockchain. Okay. Right. In terms of the opportunity and challenges, so the project started in early 2020, and I'm sure you all know what happened in early 2020, this COVID-19. So we have a lot of challenges when it comes to the blockchain implementation for this project, because I bought actually the ticket 3 times, almost at the Heathrow airport, and then lockdown, changes in the situation. So at the end, 2020 until 2023, I still haven't been to Uganda. But my RA, Dr. Acho, he also, because of the COVID-19, so he sort of not able to come back to UK. So he spent a lot of time in Uganda on the field, to carry out the data collection, research, data analysis, and kind of pilot testing of the project in Uganda. But I myself, honestly, still haven't been to Uganda until now because of that COVID-19 issue. Okay. It's unexpected. Otherwise, we have others have the kind of prototype already for other company to adopt as well. Okay. So part of the point I already mentioned just now. There are issue on the supply chain. It's a fragmented supplier base. There's a middleman, a broker, so they make it even more complicated. inadequate or missing IT infrastructure. So some of the farms are in the very remote area. The farmer, they don't even wearing shoes. There's lack of electricity infrastructure. You name it, you can imagine that. Yeah. So these are making the whole process very complicated. Okay. And there are also social cultural issues, language barriers. Yeah, they all speak different dialects. Yeah, so sometimes they also don't understand each other. So they got the wrong understanding of the kind of the deals or the discussion or the contract and so on. So there's a lot of argument there, and there are also a lot of what we call that fraud in the process. Sometimes there's a fake exporters. They say, "Oh, I come from UK. I'm from which cities, from which port, and I'm here to buy more chili or hot peppers and so on." But these are fake agent or fake exporters and so on, and then they get all the chili and the peppers, and then they disappear, for example. So they make it a lack of trust among all the kind of party in the pepper supply chain. Okay. And there are also a lot of risk or hidden action in the value chain. I think I already highlighted some of this already. Unfaithful contracted farmers and growers, yeah, or overestimation by the farmers. The farmer want to make more money, and then they sometimes over promise the kind of quantity or quality they can produce to the middleman or to the exporters. Yeah. And the poor handling of the produce. As I mentioned, some of the farms are far away from the city. Yeah, so it's they have to walk, for many hours, to deliver the product to the packaging house, for example. Yeah, or they deliver too much half-life products and so on. And also in our kind of pilot testing or implementation of the blockchain, we're also facing a lot of issues because not all the farmers, they have familiarity with IoT. Some of them the area only covered by 2G, for example. Yeah, and then what is blockchain? They don't understand what is blockchain. They don't really care what is blockchain, for example. So we have to provide a lot of training, a lot of workshops, and then and get these people far away from the kind of remote area to the university in Kampala, to have a kind of 2-day workshop, and then this costs a lot of money, yeah, and sometimes they promise they will come, but they don't come because other issues. So it's very complicated. Okay. And the second video is so basically I'm not going to show because it's much longer. Basically highlight the quality assurance issue, the trust issue, the kind of a payment issue. In the video, you will see that the growers, exporters, and also the middleman, broker, they argue with each other. They almost fight, because this is very common kind of scene in the farm. Yeah, because it's all about money. It's about where they get the money and so on. There are a lot of ethical issues. There are a lot of cheating going on in the deal in the pepper supply chain. Okay. So just to sum up, and in terms of the prototype system, some of you I think are expert in the blockchain. So we're going to use the Algorand platform, yeah, and then use the web and mobile application development for tracking and data input. Okay. And because of the COVID-19 issue, as I mentioned to you, so we didn't sort of fully pilot test the whole blockchain. But the funding already ended. Yeah, so we now are looking for new funding. We now have a proposal ready. We have a new team now, especially the MS Sharif as a EU exporter, importer, and detailer. They're going to be the kind of a lead kind of buyer for this project. Yeah, and then we have the other UK retailer as well. Yeah, for the pilot test. And then the local partners at the Uganda Makerere University is still there. And we have the Ministry of Agriculture, Animals and Fishery. The minister himself actually very keen on the project. Yeah, so there's good news. And then in terms of the infrastructure, we have Blue as one of our contractor. Because as academic, we may not have time to really sit down to write all the apps and the software and so on. So if we can get the money, I think we're going to work with the Blue as our software supplier or work on the IT side, you know, of all the issue that related to the blockchain. Yeah. So that's all I have time to share with you, and I hope you gain some understanding of the blockchain application in the pulp paper supply chain, especially from Africa all the way to UK, and then the issue and challenges when it comes to the blockchain implementation in the real world. Because on the paper, you see that blockchain can provide many benefits. But when you come to really implementation in the real world, there are a lot of issues and challenges, and then trust, you know, culture issue, people issue, you know. But then the other side, which is really important, is also about cost, money, and so on. Okay, right. That's all. Thank you very much, and so thank you for the opportunity. I'm so sorry that. A bit rushing because there are a lot of videos, data I want to share with you, but that means 2 or 3 hours of presentation, not 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Tan. Thank you for presentation. I think that's a really interesting topic, and also the blockchain is really a new or emerging technology. Particularly, we apply this technology for production and operations management. In agriculture production management, we also have some great opportunities. So my question, I have a small question. My question is that your current product is more about the agriculture food or supply chain, food supply chain management, where you use some blockchain. But would you think some opportunities that we can use this technology in agriculture production process? Do you think that?
Yes. So there are a lot of application of blockchain, yeah, and then to answer your question in a very short period of time, yes, there are a lot of application. Actually, I can also take this opportunity to share with you. In fact, I was in China, and I think before COVID, yeah, and I was discussing with the Sichuan province. There's an agriculture university in Chengdu. Yeah, so we want to work on this blockchain for the potato, because of the particular type of soil in Chengdu, so they can produce a kind of very specific, very delicious type of potato and so on. So we are looking at how can we kind of implement this kind of blockchain potato supply chain, sort of to enhance the traceability and also for the marketing purposes. Yeah, because then they can sell it more expensive, because this is a specific region or a particular area of a potato from Chengdu. You know, if not, so that you can use that as kind of to differentiate, you know, that potato from other potato in China, for example, that is more expensive. And the other project we were looking at that time was on the salmon supply chain, because for the salmon imported from, I think, Norway to China. I think they have this COVID-19 virus or something like that. Yeah, so how you ensure the transparency, you know, food safety of the salmon in China, you know, at that time. Yeah. So briefly, actually, there are a lot of project actually or application of blockchain in the food supply chain. Yeah. Or in the agriculture supply chain. Or some of this actually can be implemented or in China as well. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Agriculture supply chain. Or some of this actually can be implemented. I think you're on mute. Yeah, I can't hear you. Thank you very much. I think you're on mute. Yeah, I can't hear you.
My second question about the cost, or even in the mainland China or other countries, the cost to use the blockchain is totally high, particularly for smallholders, farmers, and then for I think how you improve, how you allow them to use, or the strategy, the overseas strategy, which is their strategy to promote this technology.
Yes, I think you highlighted a very good point, for this blockchain implementation, and it's going to be costly because it involves actually the whole supply chain. It can't be just one global and one middleman. You implement blockchain among yourself, and then you say we have the transparent supply chain. You have to be across the whole supply chain, even the lorry driver, what kind of truck they use. Are they using a Huawei EV truck, or are they using this Xiaomi truck, or are they using a Toyota, or for example, is there a kind of a diesel car, diesel lorry, or EV, or petrol lorry, for example? What is the name of the driver? Yeah, how big is the truck? Because the blockchain, not just for the food safety and the transparency, but actually it's very important also for the carbon, carbon emission calculation in the future. So for a lot of company, so I think this is not something that they should consider. It's something that they must implement in their supply chain in the future. Yeah, of course, this will take some time from the support from the policy makers, enforcement, and so on. But I believe in the future, all the food supply chain and all the product supply chain, I think they're going to be transparent and visible, not just for the safety and then the cost perspective, but the carbon emission point of view become very, very important. Yeah, especially now, everyone is pushing for category 3, not just 1 and 2, category 3 as well in terms of the carbon capture. That's going to have a big, big impact, on the global supply chain.
Okay. I think there are too many opportunities for you training even to have some further research on cultural production operations and operations management, and also blockchain. I think it's a good topic, and there are a lot of tasks or issues that should be raised. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, if you have any further question, and if you want to know more about blockchain, talk about food supply chain, more about agriculture, or more about innovation, just send a message or a question to Bill, Professor Wang. He is my good friend. Then he can then pass the question to me, and then I can then answer the question. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Professor Chan, and also thank you, Professor Wang. I just want to say one more time. It's my honor to invite both of you to give this great presentation. Because I know both of you are Arabic. So thank you so much, and also welcome to visit our university, Northeast Agricultural University in Harbin. You may also know Harbin is really famous from the end of the last year. So welcome all of you to visit Harbin and visit our university now, even our school. Thank you all of you, and also all the participants from the mainland China, from the other countries. Thank you all of you. We hope we can see you in the future and also physically. Thank you all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.